Disney Channel takes you to a school.
Welcome to the A.N.T Farm.
I'm an ant because I'm in the Advanced Natural Talent program.
That's anything but ordinary.
Each student in the A.N.T program has a unique gift.
China's is music, mine is art, and ours is answering questions nobody's asking.
I'm really good at it.
Around this place, small is the new big.
Get in, hurry! There are advantages to being the smallest kids in school.
Did a unicorn throw up on you?
You left your locker open. But don't worry, I kept your blankie safe.
Are you a magician? No, actually, I think magicians are so hot. Pick a color.
How did it go at the chess club?
No 12.
Just relax your cheek muscles. Oh, not those cheek muscles!
Usually when I cornrow China's hair, I don't actually find corn in it.
So that's where that went.
Disney Channel's new comedy A.N.T Farm is coming soon.
Hey, on Disney Channel.
Do you remember when it was?
A.N.T Farm was a Disney Channel sitcom from 2011. I knew nothing about the show besides the fact that it was new and China Anne McClain was in it. Some of y'all know China from House of Pain or Black Lightning. Die-hard fans know her from the movie The Gospel, but the real ones know her from Daddy's Little Girl. That's the movie where Idris Elba hits a nigga with his car.
You know, I want to go see that movie with the dude with the axe. No, it's the chainsaw.
Baby, you know if we went to see that movie.
I caught a few episodes occasionally, but not enough to form an opinion. It was one of those shows I just randomly remembered existed. The most I remember about it is the theme song and that Fletcher meet. So let's find out exactly what happened to A.N.T Farm. And where's the best place to start? That's right, the pilot. The episode starts with our lead, China, on her first day of school.
Lockers instead of cubbies. Driver's ed instead of kitty bites. Him instead of... What was it talking about?
Pretty sure homie's like 5 years older than you.
In front of your daddy, really, bitch?
Once inside the A.N.T Farm, they are greeted by Gibson.
Welcome to the A.N.T Farm. I love doing that.
Hate this nigga already.
I'm Gibson, your tutor, guidance counselor, and therapist, all rolled up in one. I also give out licorice.
Next, we have the theme song. In my opinion, this is one of the more underrated themes on the channel. This song still bangs, especially the chorus. Back on the show, we meet another ant named Olive. Here, we learn a little bit more about the program. A.N.T stands for Advanced Natural Talents. Everyone in the A.N.T program has a unique gift. Olive has an eidetic memory, Fletcher is an art prodigy, China is a music prodigy, and Angus is a computer genius, and apparently has access to missiles. We meet back up with them in music class, where we meet Lexi and her friend Paisley. And unfortunately, China's in the wrong seat.
Hi, I'm China.
Well, let's see if this China is breakable.
It's kind of funny.
During class, China gets singled out by the teacher to showcase her musical talents, leaving Lexi jealous. We also find out that the school will be performing Hairspray the musical and are currently holding auditions.
Going out for cash because obviously I'm the leading man type. I was in that play, Les Miserables. I played less.
China is excited to be a part of it, but Lexi isn't having any of that shit. She's been in damn near every musical. She was even Fiddler on the Roof. Also, are schools allowed to do Hairspray? Seemed a little high risk for a high school. China ignores Lexi's taunts and signs up anyway. Olive warns China about messing with the big kids. Apparently, all the ants are terrified of them, which honestly makes sense. These are just a bunch of children. They don't even eat in the calf. They barely leave the safety of the A.N.T Farm. It's almost like, when you'd really think about it, putting children in high school is a terrible idea. Amidst the class change, to avoid being trampled to death, China and Olive rush and hide in a locker. Either these lockers are huge, or these kids are hella small. I ain't never had a locker this big. Also, I don't think I've ever seen someone get shoved into a locker either.
Screw you, Jake.
Speaking of lockers, do y'all remember the American Dad episode when Steve was trapped in a locker?
Oh no, Jewel looks like a grown-ass man.
This cupcake was so worth it. This is not my locker, and that's not a cupcake.
That would explain the tail.
While in the locker, China overhears Lexi planning a party tonight and she wants in. Olive says it's a bad idea, reminding her that the older kids don't like them. But China stands on business. She says it's time for the ants to have some fun and experience high school stuff like the rest of the students. After some convincing, Olive and Fletcher meet up at China's house. The plan was for them to dress up a little older so they could blend in with the rest of the students. So Fletcher comes dressed like Monopoly Man meets Cab Calloway. Homie got a fucking zoot suit on. And Olive shows up with fake boobs.
Why do I smell fruit? It's blueberry yogurt. I want them to look natural and the label said all natural.
You know what's crazy? I bet niggas thought this was the funniest thing in 2011. How could y'all possibly think this is what she meant by looking older? You see high school kids every day. None of them look like this. After lying to her dad, who's a cop by the way, and sneaking out of the house because of course they did, ain't no way these kids will be allowed to go to a house party alone. Once there, they try their best to fit in, but fail miserably. China gets sunned because she's never kissed a dude. Fletcher's doing magic tricks. Olive is hyped up on sugar, looking like Max from Foster's. Now this next part kinda pisses me off because they blame China for these niggas making shit weird. I get that she brought them and wasn't even invited, but one, you should have kicked them out the moment they walked through your door. That's on you. And two, Fletcher broke the sound system and Olive is the one hopping around. China didn't do shit. With the party ruined, China tries to salvage what's left by singing a cover of Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. This actually unlocked a memory. I remember seeing this on the channel. Soon after, the party gets busted. China gets grounded and Olive's boobs drop.
Don't you talk to us that way. Yeah!
What the fuck is that smell?
And the episode ends with China being moved in officially to the Ant Farm.
Coming up next, this school is anything but ordinary. The Extraordinary Ant Farm is next on Disney Channel Summer. And now back to Ant Farm on Disney Channel.
And that was Ant Farm, the pilot. Overall, it was fine. The cast had decent chemistry, the song was pretty good, and it was overall okay. But as a whole, the show's not great. As the show progresses, you quickly learn that this is a jokes first, character second type of show, if that makes sense. Which isn't inherently a bad thing, but the problem is, it's not funny. Which is a shame because it was produced by a Laugh production, and I barely laughed once.
I love it when they serve grilled cheese sandwiches. It's so much better than yesterday's angel hair pasta.
Yeah, I wish Angel would wear a hairnet.
Okay, two things. One, why are they eating grilled cheese with a knife and fork? Like legit, this kind of pisses me off. What are they doing, like a Seinfeld reference? And two, I hoped you liked that joke, because their entire humor is summed up in that one scene. They do this shit all the time. They make the same joke, the same way, damn near every episode.
The air conditioning is so cold. My buns are freezing. 2 hours of baking for nothing.
This backpack is so heavy. My back is killing me.
What do you have in there? A ton of bricks?
Yes, a ton of bricks. By Kathleen Lombard.
Maybe she's gonna unite two warring dance crews like she did in Give Peace a Dance.
That's ridiculous. Our dance crews get along great.
This is terrible. There's only one person here. And Wacky's not gonna buy anything. He spent all his money on sheep's clothing.
Ooh, I love cartoons. I've watched over 70,000 and kept a log.
Alright, so y'all just seen that corny ass shit.
Also, something I wasn't expecting, they make being an ant look terrible. Everybody around them hates them. The only one that rocks with them is Gibson, and he's useless. They're either being bullied, used, or just not taken seriously. Principal Skidmore is one of the worst people in the show. Not only does she hate them, but she admits to only having the program just to exploit them.
The whole point of the ANT program is that I can take your advanced natural talents and exploit them for my own benefit. It's like a sweatshop. only we have smoke alarms.
Damn, nigga.
She's forced them to do manual labor like making grape juice, writing seminars, subbing for teachers, painting her a self-portrait. Once she made them watch her baby. She's also a shitty principal. It's amazing how this school is still open.
We don't have the money in the budget. One of you crybabies complained about not having doors on the bathroom stalls.
Does that mean that there were no doors on the bathroom stalls before this? In one episode, the school's cooling and heating system were broken. She claims that there was no money in the budget to fix it, and yet she's using the money for her own gain while the school can't even afford a clock. The main three have decent chemistry, but their relationship with each other barely get explored. With the exception of a few episodes, the most of what they say to each other is just bad punchlines or a corny jab.
Every business book I've ever read says you should never do business with friends. But you're going in on this with me. Exactly.
And that would be all fine and good if the writing wasn't ass. I say that, but the writing in this show is bad, but there are moments where it's so bad it's kind of good.
Hey, China, can I have a pencil?
Look, Angus, everyone's been asking me for pencils. And I already sent 3 home to my family. Look, I'm so sorry, but I just can't.
Fine, China. I thought we were friends. You know, having pencils has changed you.
Bruh, there were moments where I was just sitting there confused like,
what's going on here? Where am I? What the... Huh? What the hell's going on here? Huh?
The premise feels irrelevant, if that makes sense. Each episode, especially going into season 2, becomes less and less about the Ant Farm. This could be the same show without China being a prodigy. They could have even kept the singing stuff and just put China in the drama club with Lexi. You could argue that this is all part of its charm, but even if that's the case, it fumbles the execution. Season 1 was the most tame compared to the rest of the seasons, and my personal favorite. It still felt like a fish out of water story that they took time to expel on with these characters. You get to see how difficult it is for them to go through high school as kids while also seeing them grow more confident in their gifts, all the while experiencing the woes of growing up. This was the thing that grounded the show for me and made all the jokes and wacky shit tolerable. Season 2 is where everything becomes chaotic. They ramp up the snarkiness so much so that it becomes obnoxious, and the stories become more nonsensical. There's no real development with the characters. With that said, there is one episode I want to talk about. It's the Black History episode.
Fletcher, what are you doing? Preparing my presentation. Skadoosh! Fletcher, it's Black History Month, not Jack Black History Month. I thought it was weird he got a whole month.
China has a presentation due for history class and wants to make a song for it. After falling asleep, she's transported to the Cotton Club in 1930s New York. Also, somehow the wolf made it in. China is supposed to be Ella Fitzgerald, and she's late for her show. She gets on stage and she starts scatting, which is one of the things Ella was famous for. This low-key reminds me of that jazz sketch from Mad TV.
I'm opera skin man, rockety floppity.
She finds out that the Cotton Club is whites only, and though she works here and makes them money, black people are not allowed to watch or attend. She storms off just to come back to the present.
I'll show you. Wait until you see a picture of President Obama.
The fact that she's not questioning at all what just happened is wild to me. She goes back in, but ends up in the 1960s as Aretha Franklin.
Hallelujah!
Alright, so this next part is wild. After singing a song, she does it all over again and comes back in 1983.
Michael, will you please keep her out of the shot?
Sorry, I'll take care of it.
Yes, she's supposed to be Janet Jackson. Her dad is Michael Jackson, and Cameron's Jermaine.
My name is Tito.
You know, out of all the things they could have done, out of all the people they were gonna reference, I was not expecting Janet and Michael Jackson. Which in hindsight makes sense, but I still wasn't ready. Also, if I had a nickel for every time I talked about the Jackson family in a video, I'd have 2 nickels.
which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
And you may be my little sister, Janet, but right now, I need you to beat it.
This show is dumb as hell, man. This show is so ridiculous.
Annie, are you okay?
Nigga, shut up. The whole point was to talk about how, even though Janet wasn't part of the Jackson 5, that doesn't mean that she can't be a star. And with a spin and a fall, she comes back to reality, just in time for her presentation.
Most of you know that when it comes to music, I usually don't have much trouble. In fact, normally I'll sing at the drop of a hat.
Boo! And she sings a song referencing all the past musicians to the beat of the theme song. I'm not gonna hold you. I like this a lot. This is one of my favorite episodes, and I believe a good example of what a balanced A.N.T Farm episode could look like. But other than that, season 2 is still bad. In season 3, they changed locations. To make a long story short, a high-tech billionaire builds his own boarding school for gifted children, and everybody jumps ship.
There is no way that you are taking these prodigies away from me. They are extremely loyal.
Where did you say we could get an application? You know what? I'll just give you my information. Hold still, Susan.
This was actually very satisfying to see. We spent 2 seasons with them dragging the school. They did deserve better. They also changed the title sequence, which was admittedly pretty cool. The plots were the same, if not crazier. I hated the new character dynamic with Lexi and Angus being around more, and I'll get to the Olive and Fletcher stuff, but that didn't save it either. It's still obnoxious and not funny, but what makes season 3 so interesting is that when you take away the fish out of water high school element, it's still the same show. Arguably worse, but still the same. This could have been the whole show, which is just adding to my confusion of what this show became and what it could have been. Season 3 felt like a new show, but fumbled the bag within the first episode. I honestly can't believe it made it this far.
Stick around. Sizzling Summer will be right back with A.N.T Farm. Disney Channel Summer.
I'm China Ann McClain from A.N.T Farm, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Calling my phone with another lie I ain't interested in.
China Parks, played by China Ann McClain, China was very entertaining. I love her expressions and reactions to all the bullshit happening around her.
My name is Cameron Parks, and I can predict the future.
Oh no.
I like that they didn't hold back on China's gift. She sings a lot, so much so that it becomes a running gag.
This is my one chance to sing in public.
What about the time you sang Dynamite at my party? And when you sang Unstoppable in the hallway? Yeah, I mean, this is one of the few moments you're not singing in public.
But they showcase her playing a plethora of instruments. She has a bit of an ego when it comes to her gift. Anytime it's challenged or questioned, she's quick to let a nigga know. Like the episode where Angus got picked to make a jingle instead of her.
I'm the musical prodigy. This makes no sense.
Can we talk about this later? I'm eating.
I like how China is never intimidated by Lexi. She mostly treats them like an afterthought. I wouldn't even call them rivals because it's completely one-sided. China lives rent-free in her mind. When they get a chance to perform on American Needs Talent, Lexi goes out of her way trying to sabotage China because she knows that she can't beat her on her own. I was so glad China set her up. She needed to be embarrassed.
I don't understand. I stole your song. No, you stole the fake song I left for you to steal after I heard you tell Paisley your plan.
Her dynamic with Olive and Fletcher were interesting. It gave the vibe that she tolerated them more than she liked them. Don't get me wrong, she is there for them, like when she broke into the art museum to steal back one of Fletcher's paintings. But there are moments where they take advantage of her kindness and she quickly exposes them, like when Olive tricked her into signing up for Ant Rep. That was a wild episode. They were doing everything in their power to not be elected.
I promise my ideas will knock you out.
Where will I put all this toxic waste? I'll just dump it here, and it'll go right out to the ocean.
What? To be fair, she ain't no saint either. She's definitely screwed them over a few times, just to run away or claim ignorance. Like when she ruined Olive's relationship with the spy and never said anything. Honestly, I think she took that to the grave. But yeah, China was a solid character. Olive Doyle, played by Sierra McCormick. Olive is the smart one of the group, if not the school. if not the world. She is the youngest member of Mensa. I thought Olive was fine. She's a very quirky know-it-all in a endearing sort of way.
Interesting factoid. The Presidio was fortified in 1776 when the Spanish made it the military center of their expansion.
Olive has an eidetic memory and has retained a lot of information for only being 11. She's written countless books, including her own autobiography. She can speak 57 different languages. She can even braid hair.
Usually when I cornrow China's hair, I don't actually find corn in it.
For someone so smart, she's very gullible. China and Lexi have tricked her countless times. Lexi once tricked her into doing maid service. Something I found interesting about her is how she fundamentally hated the A.N.T program. She's expressed this countless times.
I need somebody to give a speech about the A.N.T program.
You mean explain how innocent 11-year-olds have been robbed of their youth by their principal, a power-hungry tyrant?
This hits harder when you remember that Olive never wanted to join in the first place. Her parents made her. There's an episode where Olive gets amnesia, and because of this, she gets kicked out of the A.N.T Farm, just to find out later that she was pretending the whole time.
The whole time I was trying to keep my best friend around. She was trying just as hard to get away from me.
No, I never wanted to get away from you. Just the big kids.
Yeah, it's stupid, but oddly compelling. Homie was desperate to escape high school. If it wasn't for China and Fletcher, she would have never lasted. After this episode, they never explore this again, and Olive's quirkiness slowly turns into her being a smartass. She kinda adopts this "I'm too good for this shit" mentality, and now she talks to everyone like they're stupid. I didn't mind it. Olive was already pretty funny to me, so this was kind of welcomed, but it never really added anything to her character or the show. So yeah, for the most part, I still enjoyed Olive. Fletcher Quinby, played by Jake Short. Fletcher is the fun-loving art prodigy. Homie is a top-tier artist. He even gets offered a job in New York to paint full-time. Homie legit dropped out of school for this. Like, homie gets in a cab and never looks back. I wish they played into his artistry a bit more. He's also a dumbass. I swear, some of the shit he says just makes you want to punch a wall.
Do you understand the term cat burglar?
Obviously. Seems I'm the only one who does.
Without lint, things would be boiling over and splattering. And how would you make rice? And a microwave.
Well, you can, but it's not as moist.
It's kind of funny.
Days ago, dinosaur nuggets became extinct, eliminating the last evidence of the great reptile's existence.
You left the door open.
So what? So when a warm front and a cold front meet, it creates... It creates what? Don't leave me hanging.
But beyond that, Fletcher is kind of hard to place. When he's not with the girls, he's usually doing his own thing that doesn't really amount to much. The most notable thing he did was have a crush on China and date Olive. And I guess now is as good as time as any. Olive and Fletcher date in season 3 for 2 episodes. And you know what? This could have worked if they were better friends. Olive treated this nigga like dirt. Second to Cameron, he was the most bullied character in the entire show. And the same goes for Fletcher. He made an entire cartoon making fun of Olive. Adding this romantic element between them just feels so sporadic and baseless. I don't know. I feel like they didn't do enough to make a love-hate relationship work. So yeah, I didn't care for the relationship, and I didn't really care for Fletcher as a character, to be honest. Lexi Reed, played by Stephanie Scott. Lexi's entire identity is popular girl, and I wish I could say more. Yeah, she had a bigger role in season 1 as the main antagonist, but as the series progressed, she became less and less relevant. She just hates China and the ants for honestly no reason. I know she's jealous of China, but I guess she also just hates kids. Also, the reveal of her being a math genius was kind of cool, but it barely gets brought up again. So yeah, Lexi kind of became an afterthought for me. Angus Chestnut, played by Aiden Minks. I didn't care for Angus. Hell, if he wasn't a part of season 3, I wouldn't even talk about him now. Honestly, it felt like homie was only around so they could make fat jokes.
Calm down, China.
That wasn't me.
But similar to Olive, they changed his character for season 3. And just like her, he doesn't add anything. He's actually kind of a dick.
Yeah, She's a debate prodigy. A girl whose talent is talking. No, thank you.
Boy, fuck you. Dad today.
You see what I mean? Like, why this nigga talking like he runs shit? So yeah, that's all I really gotta say about him. Cameron Parks, played by Carlin Jeffrey. Cameron low-key reminds me of Troy Barnes from Community. Though, I might just be saying that because they got those big ol' eyes.
Fuck you looking at, nigga?
Man, I feel for Cameron. Nobody likes this nigga. So much so that I'm convinced that his whole purpose is to be dumb and hated.
Wow. Even looking like this, I bet girls still don't notice you.
It's kind of ironic that someone with no future thinks he can predict the future.
Accept it. She finds me irresistible.
Look at yourself. You're irresistible.
I see where you're going with this. You find her, Cameron meets her for real, she can shoot him down like an enemy plane, and we can all get on with our lives. Good plan!
All the things to predict. Cameron had to go with the end of the world. Oh, he's even untalented at having fake talent.
I'm applying to college.
Really? As a student or for like a maintenance job? Because frankly, I don't think you're qualified for either.
Cameron? No. Even if one of the things on the list we had to find was Cameron, we wouldn't want Cameron.
How come you got China present and not me?
You know how girls are. They're obsessed with fitting in. But see, the great thing about you, Cameron, is that no matter what you do, you'll never fit in.
Gonna need a sensu for that one.
He's the Meg of A.N.T Farm. Homie cannot catch a break. He is constantly catching strays. Homie can never win. And even when he does, it doesn't last long. There was an episode where Cameron gets a date to the school dance just to find out that it was all in his head.
How could this be?
You imagined her. Obviously, you couldn't handle the grim reality that you'd never have a date for the dance. So your subconscious invented a date to protect what tiny shred of self-worth you have.
I guess you can say the only girls he gets are in the pages of a catalog. Here stands Lord of the Bluff. His lives were legendary till the truth made him. I'm getting off track.
Sorry, terribly sorry.
In the next episode, homie is going through it.
My Shayla!
Face ass. So China tries to cheer him up by finding the girl in the magazine, and a bunch of unfunny stuff later, they finally meet the girl. And to his surprise, she likes him.
China, we did it. She actually likes me.
This episode was his first and only dub, because in the next few episodes, they're still together, but everyone is praying for their downfall. Everyone keeps telling him that he doesn't deserve her, she's out of his league, or there's something wrong with her.
There must be some other reason she's interested in you. Maybe she's a vampire with a thirst for human blood.
With everyone in his head, he fumbles the relationship and loses the girl. Then Lexi tells him that it's for the best because it's too much pressure for him.
Maybe this breakup's for the best. It's too much pressure for a guy like you to go out with a beautiful girl.
Shut your bitch ass up!
See what I mean? Homie cannot catch a break. Even when he returns in season 3, they don't even give him a welcome back sitcom cheer. They just laugh at him. And you know what's sad? Cameron isn't even that bad of a character. Honestly, he's one of the funniest people in the show.
Hello, Lexi, my little angel. And who's this lovely young whippersnapper you brought with you?
I'm surprised he didn't get his own spinoff with Jason Earls or something. He's also one of the nicest, which is wild because homie ain't no saint, but still. But yeah, to my surprise, I really rock with Cameron.
Coming up next, this school is anything but ordinary. The Extraordinary Ant Farm is next on Disney Channel Summer. And now, back to Ant Farm on Disney Channel.
Surprisingly, A.N.T Farm had a pretty decent guest star list. James Hong as a restaurant store owner, Zendaya makes a guest appearance as Sequoia Jones, Vanessa Morgan plays Vanessa LaFontaine, R2-D2 and 3CPO make a cameo.
Yo, step off, fool.
Lauren and Sierra McLean with Sharinda Kinderlow for the group Trifecta. Vernine Watson played their grandmother. The homie Piper Curta plays Kennedy, who's looking to run for president in the year 2032. Also, she had a subplot where it was revealed that she was the daughter of an evil businessman. Chris Rock showed up in season 3.
You know what kind of pet I had when I was a kid? A rock. Yeah.
Just a nasty old rock from the street. And I was happy to have her. Called her Roxy Rock. I love that rock.
But anywho...
And Roshan Fegan appears in the season finale. A.N.T Farm was definitely not what I was expecting. It's a show that isn't trying to say anything or play with a certain concept. It's just a fun time, or at least it's trying to be. The way season 3 ended left the door open for a possible season 4, but unfortunately, on March 21st, 2024, the show would be cancelled. Now, depending on who you ask, the show was cancelled due to 3 possible reasons. 1, Jake Short leaving the show to focus on Mighty Men. 2, China Anne McClain wanted to pursue her own music career. The third reason, and the one that I'm choosing to believe, it had enough episodes for syndication. I don't know if they still do it, but it was believed that Disney Channel had a rule, the 65 episode rule. If a show exceeded more than 65 episodes, it would be canceled and put in syndication. So yeah, do I recommend the show? Given the choice, no. But if you're looking for some dumb nostalgic fun, knock yourself out. But as for me, I'ma keep it moving. But hey, you don't have to take my word for it.